Today we will learn about catenation, allotropes of carbon, saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds, taking example of electron dot structure of ethane and ethene. Carbon has a very unique ability to form bonds with other atoms of carbon, forming long chains, branch chains, or rings of carbon. So, this property exhibited by carbon is called catenation, giving rise to large molecules, which we will learn today. And this is a unique property that no elements exhibit other than carbon. Look at the picture, you will find there are three types of chains formed by carbon atoms. In the first one, they form straight or long chains. In the second one, they are forming branched chains where there are many branches. And in the third, rings of carbon, or you can say cyclic chain. Here is another picture of catenation in carbon. Aren't they beautiful? Draw them in your notebook. Allotropy or allotropism is a property exhibited by elements to exist in two or more different forms, or in other simple words, the same element bonding with each other in a different manner, hence different structural modification. For instance, taking an example of diamond, graphite, and fullerene. In diamond, each carbon atom bonds with other 4 carbon atoms, forming a rigid 3D structure. So as you can see in this picture in the right, all these black dots are carbon atoms, and you will find each of the carbon atom. They are forming bonds with other 4 carbon atoms. Look at the picture carefully. Whereas in graphite, each of the carbon atom bonds with 3 other carbon atoms in the same plane, thus giving a hexagonal structure. Look at the picture carefully. Pause the video and look at it carefully. You will also find that in graphite, one of the bonds is a double bond. Now your task is to find out why one of the bonds in graphite is a double bond. Here is another allotrope of carbon called fullerene. Fullerenes are carbon atoms comprising of 60 to 80 number of carbon atoms, forming large molecules which is arranged and looks like a football. Fullerene is also called C60 Buckminster fullerene, named after its designer, US architect Buckminster Fuller. Things to remember about allotropism. Allotropes of carbon have different physical properties, however the chemical properties remains the same. Taking an example of diamond is the hardest substance known, while graphite is smooth and slippery. Talking about saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds, an organic compound where the carbon atoms are connected by a single bond is called a saturated carbon compound. I repeat, an organic compound where the carbon atoms are connected by a single bond. It is called a saturated carbon compound. Whereas an organic compound where the carbon atoms are formed by a double bond is called an unsaturated carbon compound. Pause the video and try to understand the difference between saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds. Oh yes, find out if triple bond in carbon are also called unsaturated carbon compound or not. Okay, examples of saturated carbon compound and steps to draw electron dot structure. So let us take an example of ethane, which is C2H6. As we all know, 2 carbon atoms share an electron with each other, forming a single bond. But what happens to the remaining 3 valence electron then? To understand it well, let us denote the valence electron as X. So when two valence electron pair together, they are denoted as X and X. Look at the picture carefully. You will be able to understand how the valence electron are denoted as X and written in this electron dot structure. Reminder, carbon has 4 valence electrons. While one of the electron bond with the electron of the other carbon atom, what happens to the remaining 3 valence electron in each carbon atom? Well, the remaining 3 valence electron in each carbon atom pair with 3 hydrogen atoms having an atomic size 1, thus having 1 valence electron. Look at the picture carefully. You will find that the remaining 3 valence electron in each carbon atom pair with 3 hydrogen atoms having a valence electron 1 in its outermost shell. Here's another easy task for you. The molecular formula of propane is C3H8. Find out what will be its electron dot structure, draw it, and indicate whether it's a saturated or unsaturated carbon compound. Okay, now C2H4 is the molecular formula of ethene. Remember, we have done that in the last video. Recapitulate. Ethene forms double bond, thus is an unsaturated carbon compound. So the remaining 2 valence electron in each carbon atom bonds with 2 hydrogen atoms. Look at the picture carefully. Students, we have learned about catenation, we have learned about allotropes of carbon, saturated and unsaturated carbon compound with examples, and also the electron dot structure. So you can always rewind forward back to look at each of the topic properly and carefully. Quiz time. So I'm going to give a hint for the first question. If ethane, a saturated carbon compound, is single bond, ethene, double bond, unsaturated carbon compound, so what will be ethane? So students, read each of the questions carefully, try to understand them and answer the questions. Till then, study well, take care, bye.